Every year, Startup Grind hosts our SG Women Leaders Month, proudly recognizing the accomplishments of successful women leaders all over the world. These women are founders, venture capitalists, engineers, executives, educators, and more who represent our community all around the world. This month's SG Women Month is proudly presented by Google for Startups and Silicon Valley Bank.
Okay, so we are going to, so that is the introduction of Startup Grind Women Month, all right? And now we are going to join in for a very interesting panel discussion that is with the topic of leading with purpose. And with us today, we have a moderator, which is Nina, and we have our guest speakers, Anne, and our another speaker called Jacqueline, and also another speaker is Fiona. So let me call them out so that they can start the panel discussion. So, all right, we have Fiona, we have Anne, we have Nina. Where is Jacqueline? Is Jacqueline? Okay. So, hello everyone.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so what I am going to do now is I'm going to pass the floor over to Nina, which is who is the moderator for today, and she will basically rock the show today. All right. So for those who are listening to us, there is a Q&A button. If you have any question, please click that button and type in your question. Don't be shy. And then 45 minutes later of the panel discussion, we're going to have a 15 minutes of Q&A, and we're going to address those questions from the Q&A section. Okay. So Nina, the floor is yours.
Okay, so first and foremost, welcome everybody and welcome amazing ladies. So I'm supposed to introduce each and every one of you guys, yeah? So first things first, we've got Jacqueline Fong in the house, co-founder of Tanoti. Jackie is retired from a career as a director of investment banking at CIMB Investment Bank after 4 years to pursue her passion projects. And her passion projects include Batik Boutique Hotel that won TripAdvisor's Hall of Fame for not 1 year, but 5 years in a row. And in 2012, Jackie founded Tanoti to revive the art of songket weaving. Today, Tanoti works with a community of 300 artisans from 25 villages across Sarawak. And during COVID-19 lockdown period, Tanoti answered the hospital's appeal for PPE and set up an impromptu crowdsourced PPE project. And at the close of the PPE project in May 2020, a total of, get this, 43,599 pieces of PPE were delivered to frontliners. That's like amazing. And our next speaker is Anne Wong. She's the co-founder of Penang Women Project. As the co-founder and current coordinator of the Penang Women Project, Anne not only helps Penang women economically, her projects ensures that the art of weaving continues to be kept alive as well. What started as a passion and a platform to create quality local handicraft from Sarawak is today an empowering platform for Anne to share her experience and empower the tribal women to see their full potential and also help them to grow in terms of their daily life and business skills. And last but not least, we have Fiona Markus Raja. She is the managing director of Borneo International Exhibition. She has 15 years experience in setting up and turning businesses around. With her vast experience in sales, marketing, event planning, and active involvement in tourism, Fiona has been leading her team offering services such as project coordination, event management, concept development programs, public relations, press conferences, government protocol programs, as well as NGO charity programs. Now, Fiona, amazing woman as well, is also active in state tourism and holds several high-ranking positions in various Sarawak tourism agencies, including she's the president of Sarawak Association of Tourism Attraction, vice president of Sarawak Tourism Federation, and also the former head of Joint Tourism Development Cluster, JTD, BEMBC Sarawak. She's also one of the founders of Tenun, which has established many long-term relationships with key service providers. So please give a warm welcome to these ladies. Give yourselves a hand. Okay. Okay, so ladies, if one of you guys can start first, how has the pandemic affected you or your organization so far?
Shall I start?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
I think from the day that the pandemic started or the lockdown started until now, I haven't had a day's rest. So it's affected my lack of sleep.
So it's completely affected your life, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think we were the most uh productive during the pandemic. In terms of the organization, obviously the organization had to pivot immediately into a donor-based one, and then we continued. Instead of doing our business as usual, we converted into a PPE project. So it was nuts, and it's still nuts actually.
Oh, okay. So basically, the pandemic completely affected your business, and you had to pivot from, weaving songket and stuff like that to basically answer the call for what the frontliners needed, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about the other two ladies?
Okay.
So far, yeah. Maybe Anne want to go first.
It's okay. Okay, go first. So during this pandemic, because of these all our weavers, they are living in the rural, so it's kind of cut off the all of our contact. There is no contact with the weavers because usually they have to come out to a small town to call me. So during this MCO, so they couldn't go out. So I was quite worried because we don't know what's going on in the rural area and how they're coping with their life over there. But since yesterday they started to come out and then just told me they're doing fine, which is okay for me, like how they are doing. And then during this MCO also, for me, because our business kind of stopped. So I just put myself into other things. I go and volunteer myself and it is doing PPE as well. So yeah, and keeping myself busy.
Wow. So basically, your business basically was disrupted. You couldn't get in touch with them because I'm assuming there's no internet, right? The only mode of communication is to actually meet them at a village or for them to call you, right?
Yeah, when they come to a town, they can call me. So during that time, and also because of a lot of actually before the pandemic, like in January, we started to have a lot of customer was thinking to plan for their events and asking for orders, and stuff like that. But when the MCO started, we can see that everybody kind of dropped their order, like they couldn't because all the event canceled. So they kind of hurt our business because all this they have to cancel because we are more on a event based. Usually customer will be ordering for the conference and things like that. So with that, we see the bad side of this pandemic, like affect this when we don't have demand, that's mean there is no job for them.
I see. Okay. So it really hit you badly. What about you, Fiona? What was happening on your side? How did it affect your business?
I think it hit the events industry and tourism industry the hardest. So we were in Germany together, Anne and I, our last trip right before the pandemic started. At the beginning, we were having an event in Frankfurt, and even before the event, we were already discussing, will the event get cancelled? What do we have to do? We were bringing all the masks, sanitizers, but at that point, it didn't hit Germany yet, so we were very lucky. But when we came back, it was already reality hit everyone, and we had to game plan. The entire team had to have a game plan on the upcoming events that we already secured. So we had to inform all our clients that there may not be any events upcoming. We have our own events venue, so we had to also inform our clients that most probably it will not happen. So assurance is one. We had to call our partners as well to inform and ask them about what was going on, what was the next game plan. And I think reality didn't hit a lot of people until in the midst of the whole MCO. People didn't realize how severe it would hit the events industry and how the recovery would take a longer time than expected. And the norm will not be the norm of what we had before. So I think we were really busy planning how do we move forward with the new norm. So
Right. Okay.
yeah, so it was
Okay.
it was challenging in the event industry because cancellation was 100%. So which means
Mm,
there's no business for the next 1 year.
okay. So, how do you find it harder to lead your team during this time of uncertainty?
The first month was hard. Everyone
Well,
was trying to figure out how do you Zoom with one. Um, Wearing sleeping attire, working attire to work was not a norm for a lot of people. I think it made everyone very comfortable. But I think now that everyone's a lot more effective with Zoom because we work longer hours. I feel that we're working a lot more longer hours than we used to. Um, a lot more freedom of time to have to meet each other and not drive to somewhere and meet somewhere. Yeah.
okay.
So
So the hardest part was basically adjusting to the new norm and as well as firefighting, I guess, because a lot of stuff was being cancelled and planning and re-strategizing, right?
yeah, we had to do a lot of reimbursement, refunds,
Mm, okay.
whether the event they would continue in 2021 or whether it be 2020. There was a lot of uncertainties. So I think we're just living with day by day at this point, but thinking about what happens, what are we planning towards recovery?
I see. Okay. What about you, ladies? Is it harder to lead during this period of certainty? And
It's definitely because our product is based on demand, right? It's based on demand. Like during this time, nobody want to shop. Would like they will shop carefully. They will not just spend. So and then also they cannot go out to buy things or look at our things, and then we cannot have any sales event to to sell our thing. And then with our weavers, they are they don't really understand all this this pandemic gonna hit the economy of people, how people spending, and how people will go on with their life. They will buy things that is necessary first, not the things that is unnecessary. So they don't really understand that part yet. But I've been telling them this is the situation right now, and give them a picture of the economy gonna not gonna bounce back in maybe 1 or 2 years. So I told them that we need to think of something else. Maybe we need to change our product, not not just doing this weaving. Maybe we have to start with something that they are already doing. Like a lot of them are doing farming. So we said, okay, let's see what kind of things you are planting. Then maybe we can turn that into something else. Then we can market it out to the urban people. So yeah, so this is one of the problem, like the hardship that we are facing right now.
okay,
Yeah, the demand will go down, and then yeah,
I see.
hopefully we can
Okay,
help them to uh, you know earn some sustainable living in another way.
right. Okay. And what about you, Jackie? During this period of uncertainty, was it hard to lead?
Um, it depends on your question, Nina, because who are we leading, right? Like
Your team,
we
basically.
well, I have to say during the pandemic, um, during the MCO, our entire team went back to the kampong.
Right. So there was
Um,
nobody to lead.
no, there was no one to lead.
Okay. And then you did something
however,
else, right?
however, we,
Yeah.
we, we
Yeah.
found we found a new project. So
Hmm.
uh, we just become motivated to continue to be leaders and find new projects to lead. So
Yeah.
so
So was it
it was
hard to lead your new bunch of people during a crisis?
it was it was a new project, and we were new, I was new, the team was new, the people who sold were new, so we were all put together very loosely, and then at over days and weeks started to evolve, become more adhesive. So I don't think it was a matter of uh, leading during the pandemic, because we just did. We all wanted to just do. We wanted to make sure that our frontliners are safe and protected. So we just do and do. But over time, we decided that we need to strategize. We needed to have designs. So then you know, we had a little bit of structure towards our project, and we learned along the way. So um, to say that we had a little to say that we had SOP from the start, we didn't. And we all made it up as we went along.
Okay.
But this is a whole new team, right?
Yeah,
And
that's amazing.
yeah.
So if I can
But
recap properly, what you're saying is that the intention is the most important thing because you wanted to make sure everybody was safe and you wanted to make a difference, right? And that was the glue that held everybody together. And then no SOP,
exactly.
nothing that along the way you figure out how to be more effective and efficient lah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
In the
sounds
beginning, we
like a
just
great.
wrote down, and then we had computer.
I think that's amazing. And to think that you actually came out with 43,599 PPEs to give that for somebody with no SOP and just Langa type of leadership, I think that's amazing, right? Right? Okay. So what
But I
strategy?
mean,
Okay.
The thing
No, go
is
on.
how we were very we were very driven by a single goal. I think a lot of organizations on a normal day are more fragmented in their
Right.
vision and mission, but because everybody was so focused to meeting a single goal, it wasn't very hard to lead.
Mm.
You know, it was just something. I was just like a little um, person who puts everyone together lah.
I see.
So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, the
Okay, cool.
glue.
Sounds good. The glue, the vision is the glue, right? Which is the most important thing. I love
Yeah.
that. And what strategies are you using? Like I get you completely pivoted, right? Your business wasn't making sense anymore. Someone they went back to the campo. So you you completely pivoted and got yourself busy with something else. Okay. Um, how do you know if something you're doing is working or not? Maybe not just during this time, but when you're leading your team at Tanoti, how do you know whether it's working or not? In terms of strategies as well. You didn't know when you first started this, right? I guess.
Again, it's like Langa, right?
Okay, I love that. That's one of our hashtags, by the way, just Langa.
um, I think we envision something, and then we continue. You know when it's working is when you look behind and there are people with you. I think
Okay.
that's important, right? Like
Okay.
if you can't do anything solo, and if you continue to maintain an adhesive group, um, and still working towards the same objectives, then you're going towards the path of success.
Right. And you mentioned just now that you are still
The one behind
busy.
you right now.
Yeah, so you're no longer sewing PPEs, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um,
We pledged to sew until the end of the month, so we've got a couple of weeks, a week and a bit more.
I see. Okay. And are you doing anything after that?
Um, no.
Oh, right.
But
So you've got a
watch
couple of
this
weeks left to.
space.
Sorry, say again?
He's going to take a
No,
break.
but watch this space.
Oh, yes. Okay, good. Take a break. I think that's
Um,
important because everybody's been overworking, right?
but we have to go back to our business as usual.
Okay,
So
got
we
it.
are transitioning back to our crafts work. I'm in July. I'm going back to the Penang villages, and we are transitioning back. And hopefully,
Okay.
by mid-July, everything will be as per what happened in January or February. Yeah.
Okay. Just for the viewers tuning in, by the way, just langa actually, langa is a Malay word which means hit it. So when you hit a car, it's langar. So basically, Jackie's strategy, and And actually, I have a show called Just Langa, so it means just bang it, just hit it, hit the thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, what about you, Anne? What did you do? How do you know if something that you're doing is working or not, especially during a crisis? You know.
Just langa. Yeah, I use that is though. Because when I start this, like when we do this, it's like there's no intention, there's no plan. It's like I just want to be a volunteer, and then suddenly everything just go to you. I don't know how to do it. Then it just go with it. Just go with the flow. I think when things work, it's working, then you just go with that. I think yeah,
Right.
just langa.
Just like actually, you're right because we've never had a pandemic of this proportion. This is like a first time ever, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's facing this situation is unprecedented. So I guess going with the flow, just hitting it, is a good strategy. What about you, Fiona? Because you obviously had a lot of people. Events were being canceled right, left, and center. We don't know when the next one was coming. What strategies were you using during this time? How did you know what to do? You know, were you bringing things online? What was your strategy?
I think for mine would be very different because what we did was I consulted a lot of our seniors who had lived through SARS, and we were reading a lot on what happened and how did they do a recovery back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for in our industry, it's diverse because it's to do with like what Anne said, the need and the demand changes. Life will change at that point in time, but how do you get back? Um, so I consulted a few, I would call them mentors that lived through SARS,
Mm-hmm.
and they explained what strategies they did in Australia back then for recovery, and how Malaysia did it back then during recovery. We were not that badly hit, but some countries were really badly hit back then, like Singapore, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our strategy is mostly on studying what other people are doing, and we're putting it on paper now to look into recovery process of consortiums, for example. How can we collaborate and merge companies? So because manpower for events, we have a lot of employees, we'll say, but it's really hard to retain them if we know for a fact that for the next 1 year we're going to lose business. Diversifying business is one, definitely, but you cannot diversify. Not everyone has a special skill set that you can diversify. So it's really something that really takes the entire team to plan and strategize on how do we move forward. What else can we do? What can we do now in the short run? What is your low-hanging fruit, if they must say? But what is the long-term plan? Participating in future events, how would that change? I think in the future, definitely recovery would be definitely for everyone. But are we planning towards that recovery? Are we going to be ready when that happens? Or are you just going to sit and hibernate? Yeah. So I think in our industry is a survival. We're all in survival mode. How many of our employees are already at the retirement age?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, did you pivot your business or something? What are you doing now?
So we started the Tenun project last year. We had our events last year. So re-strategizing is one. How do we go online is one, but it's not going to be online forever. So it's about engagement at the end of the day. It's about experience. So initiating in the short run would be online. So how do we reconnect with our stakeholders? How do we re-look into, for example, people that we met in Germany with Anne, the interested parties that wanted to collaborate. And what will be the future plan with them? Are we going to meet again in the next 2 years? So I think these are things that we have to be very strategic about. But of course, in the short run, we all need to survive. So it's really about holding each other's hands on how can we help each other in this short period of time. Because the next 6 months, there's not going to be any business. We all have to wake up and realize that there's not going to be any big events. Small events, yes. But whether it's enough for you to survive in the industry is another story.
Okay. All right. Okay, sounds good. In your opinion, what do you think during a crisis, what makes or breaks our leadership? What are people looking for during this time?
Opinion?
Yeah, in your opinion.
I think leading, for me, my style of leadership is very different, I would say. I've read about what leadership is. find it somewhat similar to what I believe in, but not exactly the way I do it. So different style of leadership. So I usually like to question my team and ask them for opinion, and I get the entire team involved. So the hardest part about leadership is being very stern with pushing, encouraging people to try, because we're living in an industry where it's events are always not sure. It's not certain that you'll be successful. So people are very scared about failures, I think. So usually what I do is I usually encourage my team to move, and I will be the one pressuring them to decide and propose on ideas. So it may work on some, may not work on some, but I think it's very important to be able to empower people. If not, I cannot be the one doing it, and I will not be here forever doing it. So yeah.
So it's about empowering and trusting your team, I guess, and listening to them, right?
Yes. So for us as leaders, I always tell my team that's leading, whatever decision made by that team member of mine, if it fails, we're in it with them anyways. So I think the most important is letting them try. So if they never try, they'll never grow. They'll never be able to lead.
Okay, so let them try and let them experience things. And actually, you mentioned one of the most important things, like allowing your team to fail, because I think that is one of the things that really stops us from being all that we can be. Because how can we be the best version of ourselves if we don't try? And with a lot of trying, we're gonna fail anyway, right? We're gonna experience failure along the way.
Yeah. So I always ask them, don't do better than not doing anything at all. You're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So it's having a culture that it's not really okay to fail, but it's okay to make mistakes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mistakes are okay. Okay, sounds good. What about you, Ed? What strategies? I mean, during a crisis, what do you think makes or breaks a leadership? What are people looking for, especially during this time?
In terms of this, me and the Penang ladies and the leaders, I think they really look out on you to make all the decision, because for them they don't really know what to do. They will depends on you. So what you have to do is be honest to them, let them see. Don't give them an empty promises, but you tell them what is the situation so they can prepare themselves. Yeah, so because with our things, I just tell them, okay, this is the situation right now. Maybe in half of this year, we will not have any ordering, or we won't have any demands. So what can we do? So I ask them and see what other things they can do in the village. So this is the thing that they look out for you, because for them they cannot go anywhere, because it's almost like the only things that they know what to do. So they become a bit not confused, but they have no direction for a while. So how you gonna give them a new direction? Like I said, like right now I've been telling them do some planting, things that can last, like potatoes, like sweet potatoes, pumpkin, melon, where you can plant in the village, but you still can bring out. If you have more, you can bring out and sell it. So at least they feel like, okay, there is something else I can do. And at the back, we will start to think, what can we use all those plantation, if they have some fruits, what can we turn them into, and how can we help them to sell? So this is another thing that I've been thinking. Instead of weeding, I said don't give up weeding. So of course we don't give up our weeding. You still do the weedings when you are free, or if we have order, then we will still continue that. But that is the direction we give them right now. Okay, let's do something that we can do, like planting that spot in there. So yeah, with the Penang Weaver is a bit different, because they really look out for you to make decision, and you can suggest to them whether you want to follow this, or if you don't want, then you can think of something that you want to do and let me know.
Is the fruit? Is the planting thing already happening, or is something you're working on right now?
It's actually been happening. Like I've been telling them since day one, when I started this project, this will not be a forever project or forever things that we can do. How many bags can somebody buy? And so I've been telling them we have to do something different. This is just a side. It's a side, but you don't depend on it like forever. That depends on the basket to give you income. You need to do something to prepare. So like I think we've been helping them to plant pineapples since last year. So and also terong, all these seeds that we give them. So they've been planting, and there is some result. But right now, it's fruiting. So we have to think how to sell this thing now.
Right. Okay. Okay. Cool. So, but at least they kind of understand that they need to
Mm,
diversify, right? Okay.
yes,
So,
yes, yes.
okay, that's good. I think the MCO has forced a lot of businesses to really start thinking about a lot of things because to start thinking their businesses differently. What about you, Jackie? In your opinion, during a crisis, what makes or breaks a leadership? What do you think people are looking for during this time?
So I think I've been I've had the benefit of two amazing speakers speaking before me, but I've been writing some points. So the first thing that is very important is relevance.
Okay.
You
What do
have
you
to
mean by
be
relevance?
relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. As a person, you need to be relevant, right? Your business needs to be relevant, and for all the people that you're leading, you have to be relevant also in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot just like order people around, but you got to give something back, right? So
Okay.
um, what makes or breaks during tough times is relevance. Are you still relevant, or will you be relevant to all the people that you're supposed to be working with or employing, or
Mm-hmm.
that's number one. And then beyond relevance, we have to be significant. So will we end up being what we do, is it significant enough, you know to warrant being continuing being a leader? And to all the people that we're working with, are we significant to them to warrant them putting energy on the efforts that are obviously just mine? So
Mm-hmm.
two things: relevance. If we make it good, you know then we see whether we're significant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's about being relevant and significant. Yeah. Um, in what do you think? What was the most challenging, difficult challenge for you during this time as a leader, if you could put a word or a couple to it?
I wanted my weavers to sew PPEs,
Okay.
and I failed.
What do you mean you failed? Could you share with us? This is really important because a lot of people think, oh, being a leader, you cannot fail, you know. So please do share with us.
Wonder whether they're listening to this session. I The thing is, during MCO, they all went back to the kampongs. So their kampongs are about an hour to 3 hours away. And I said, I want you to make money, and I will pay you peepees for making PPEs. And I sent it on a group chat, and they all said they couldn't. And I'm thinking, why? So I obviously could not make them sew PPEs whilst they were on MCO. Yeah,
Right. You wanted
it
them
was
to sew, I mean, to be in Kuching, right? Not in their kampong,
no,
or
no.
no,
They, I
still.
wanted I wanted them to sew at home, and I offered to post laju the fabric to them,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't happen.
Right. Okay.
So
So if you
yeah, I need a bit of soling.
Oh, okay. But at the end of the day, it's everybody has free will, right? You cannot really, but at least you offered it to them.
Yes.
Hmm.
So basically, at that time, relevant. They were
Yeah.
more interested in staying at home, taking care of their family or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah. So it broke
Okay.
me as a leader during that time.
Okay. So just to share with everybody, kampong means village. So they or hometown. So they basically went back to their hometown during the MCO, which is the lockdown term for Malaysia, which is movement constraint order, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. And what was the most difficult challenge for you during this time as a leader
Mm,
or as a
well, during
person?
the I think when And so started the first 2 weeks. I was like, wow, it's really free. I don't need to do anything. There's no phone call. I don't need to get a headache, with my weaver calling me asking for a lot of things. So I was like, oh, okay. For the first 2 weeks, I think I was quite free. I get my time for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to volunteer myself to do some the DIY, the face shield for the frontliner. And after that, um, I think the difficult thing is then you started to think, how long is this MC going to last? And then we have the previous project that we need to send out our, let's say, a client that they have ordered things that they need us to send out to KL. Then we have problem. We couldn't send anything out because the weavers are in the rural. We couldn't contact them. And then also we have overseas client that the all of the products stuck in the warehouse couldn't get out because all the transportation are stopped, no office open. So you feel really how do you say, like responsible for everything. You want to make sure everything they're going to receive their things. So that is the part that really worried me, and very difficult for me to get it moved because we couldn't do anything because everything locked down and you don't know when you can get it moved out. And we have like 200 baskets that going to Dubai still stuck in the warehouse. So until today, because that side are locked down, like we are done, then their turn. So yeah, this is a big time that we face, and then we couldn't contact our weavers. There is also one difficult things, and then thinking what how to move on, and all this quite difficult and really worried me. Even until now, I'm still trying to think, yeah, how to you know put back what we've been doing.
Just to explain to the viewers who are not from
Mm,
Sarawak,
mm.
could you and Jackie share with us the projects that you're doing with the villages,
Okay,
the,
so
the
for the
initiative with the rural areas? Sorry.
with Penang Women Project, we are helping the weavers in rural area in Sarawak, and
Mm-hmm.
they are about 8 hours drive on logging road into the rural area, which is quite far away from Miri. So they don't have they don't have communication. No, there's no 4G. There is no telephone line for them. So the hard part is that we couldn't contact them. Usually they have to go to a nearby small town, maybe 2 hours away, to contact me. And then until Long Lama, another 4 hours, they will have 4G line that they can either video or send image to me, because usually when we have product, we need photos to see whether they do it right or wrong. So yeah, what we are doing is we help them to sell their product, handicraft, they leaf basket, and we give them direction, and we help them to sell it so we can generate income and go back to the
Okay, so basically they're at least a minimum of 2 hours away from the nearest town.
yeah, near a very small town, very very
Right.
small.
And that town is really small as well. Okay, so
Yeah,
where they
what we
live,
yeah.
there's no internet, there's no telephone, there's no mobile phone, right? Okay. And what
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you, Jackie? What's your initiative? Could you explain more so that our viewers can get you?
Well, we do around the same thing as Penang Women Project.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we cover different areas. Our areas are Ulu Tuto and closer to Limbang, Sungai Pakan. So as you know, Penans used to be nomadic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as early as 30 years ago to as recent as 5 years ago, they were forced to settle. So these are Penan settlements. They
Mm-hmm.
will settle in former timber camps or former um, contractors' office, and very interesting way of life, lah. The way that they live and their livelihoods, how they make their livelihoods. Um, we know that, you know, as our societies progress, theirs too should also benefit from some sort of development. So what we want to do is provide them some economic power. And how do we do it? Is that we will capitalize on their skills that they've learned for ages and ages while being nomads, right? So they harvest rattan. The rattan is used for construction, is used to make their beds, make their bags, you know, so it's used for them to survive. What we do now is you take this skill and apply it for items which will be relevant for um, contemporary market, and
Mm-hmm.
allow the people who have the affluence to actually pay for these products to be able to support them or give them some sort of economic power. So that's our angle with the Penans in our areas.
Okay, but you are helping not just Penans, right? There's more than 20
Yes,
ethnic groups in Sarawak.
yes,
Is that right?
but yeah, but that's the general modus operandi. The Penans are the most remote. We also work with the
Uh-huh.
Ibans and the Berawan, the Bidayus, but
Okay.
all in very remote areas.
Okay, got it. And Fiona, could you also, you are also one of the you're from an ethnic group in Sarawak, right?
Yes.
Yes. Could you help explain to us on native ethnic of Sarawak?
Ha. Which
Which part? To somebody who doesn't know about Sarawak.
So I'm part of an ethnic group called the Orang Ulu, which is the Klabit from
Okay.
Orang Ulu, yeah, from the Orang Ulu tribe. But as a Klabit, my late father is from Barrio and Long
Mm-hmm.
Lalang. They moved from Long Lalang to Barrio. So Barrio would be where everyone end up settling
Mm-hmm.
most of our elders. But I would say so. We've gone back to Barrio to do some CSR projects of events as well, bringing corporate clients of ours down for a run, and we've been trying to bring in events, and we've been trying to support the local products as well, done by the single mothers, which is the beads, baskets. But I think the challenges is still from a tourism sector is still infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
on how to get about. Because to go to Barrio, you need to fly from Kuala Lumpur to Kuching to Miri, then to Barrio. So
Oh
as a
wow, you have to fly to
yeah,
Mary first.
you
Okay.
have to fly to Miri first. But driving down, we did once. We will be driving from Miri to Barrio with 13 hours off road.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Anne and Jacqueline will know the experience very well. So it is quite interesting. Very
Okay.
Very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So people don't understand the value of local products because of it's really about how hard it is to get to the people and how hard it is to
Mm.
get out of the
Mm-hmm.
village. To find talent is one. To be able to communicate with them, I salute these two ladies because
Yeah.
when I hear all these stories and I watch the videos, I just wonder how on earth can you communicate people from the other end? It's like the other end of the world. It's as good as the other end of the world. Um, yeah. So so local food, Orang Ulu food is something that we've been trying to we've diverse our business now from events venue to looking into culinary experience because
Mm,
everyone's ordering
okay.
food online, right? So
Yes.
with
Okay.
local native food, so trying to reintroduce ethnic Orang Ulu food to the public. Or the
That will
authentic.
do well, I think. Yeah.
The last gawa it went well, so we had quite an interesting feedback. So we're still experimenting on how do you make it more dated and it's more acceptable by the new generation of people who wants to have Instagram worthy pictures.
Yes. Okay. What was the most difficult challenge for you during this time, Fiona?
Um, I think the hardest part was to sit down with a team to explain to them that they have to change their roles.
Okay. In
The
what
job
way?
changed. Everyone's job, like what Jacqueline was saying about relevance at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We are no longer relevant. Event companies is no relevance at all to anyone because everyone wants to stay away from each other. So
Mm-hmm.
that was out the window.
Mm-hmm.
But to get our chef to do something else, during the MCO, because we didn't open the restaurant, to get our graphic designers to change their roles as well, to get our events coordinator to become something else. So everyone had to do basically whatever job there was available. So it was really busy. I was really busy trying to explain to people, sit down like what Anne said, explain to them the severity of the situation, understand that it's not something that's going to be temporary. Um, I'm very surprised that a lot of people that I called was looking at it as a holiday. Like
Okay, got it.
yeah, so it was alarming for me because when you make calls like this and you realize that you don't know whether they're delusional or they just don't understand like the severity of the situation. So I had failures too where my staff would say they rather go back to the kampong and not work for now, because if they were to change whatever they were doing back then, that was not what they signed up for.
Mm.
I had a staff tell me that this was not what I signed up for, to risk my life to work
Mhm.
at this point, because I'm supposed to be hiding at home during MCO. So that was very demoralizing at one point. But
Mm.
so I would say out of 10, you only have 2 that commented that way. So I tell myself, okay, it's just 2 that I'm willing to discount myself from getting upset. I've tried talking to them, but it still didn't make sense to them, so it's fine. But moving forward, I think everyone in our entire team has officially changed their job scope. Everyone has learned a new skill that they didn't know they have.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was challenging. It was really challenging.
Mm.
Like a lot of them
How?
using Zoom was a very big challenge, like to get everyone on Zoom to be
Uh-huh.
disciplined enough to do it. So I had to set rules that everyone must be online at 9 o'clock. So everyone would get up and sit in front of the computer and act as if they were still working.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was
Ac-
hard.
Actually, what you're sharing is my next question, which is one of the hardest things for people to embrace is change. So how did you get your team to move towards embracing these changes? What was the thing that you think worked for you?
I think reality hit a lot of people during the second phase of everything. The first phase was still like a holiday mode, like everyone was still in that holiday mode. And I think when the entire world, the news just came in and it just started to sink in that I might lose my job, or there's a lot of people that are losing their job. Because initially it sounded like a threat when I was telling them, like, look guys, you guys have to start, you have to innovate or die. Like literally at that point you can slowly learn whether you want to innovate, but if you don't want to, then you have no relevance at all left in the industry. But yeah, like I said just now, we cannot save the world, we can't be Superman, right? But really there were people that really wanted to try and change and wanted to learn, and we focused on our collaborators, our partners that were wanting to try a new industry, to remain relevant in the industry now. Going online is a big challenge for a lot of people in the tourism industry, because most
Yes.
of the people have been in the industry for 20-30 years.
Mm-hmm.
How do you change it? And virtual tours is something that nobody really quite understand how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Having the gadgets is one,
Mm-hmm.
like internet is another challenge. Can we get the
Mm-hmm.
internet connection at all those rural areas? So when you do tours in the jungle, yeah.
Okay. Um, what would be your advice? Because you actually shared that, that you felt like a failure when 2 of your 10 people didn't would rather go back home. How do you deal with that? What's the best way? What's your advice to leaders out there?
I think as leaders, it's not it's not a popularity contest. I always tell my team, you don't need to
Mm-hmm.
please everyone. Our job is definitely not to please anyone. And my
Mm-hmm.
style of leadership is always like mentor. It's as if I'm a mentor. I do mentoring more than I lead.
Mm-hmm.
So I would see myself as a friend who would give you an advice. Is whether you want to take it or not, it's entirely up to you. I have my way of telling things, whether you like it or not. But like I said, if you're in it as a team, you would stay. If you're not, and then it's not fair for the ones that are trying. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to focus my energy on someone that doesn't want to try. And
Mm-hmm.
you just need to shift your focus to things that are important at this point.
Okay. But you, Fiona, personally, how do you deal with, sometimes with your team that you don't want to take it out on them, but you got to deal with it yourself, right?
It's so embarrassing. I've learned to love watching movies on Facebook. Like,
Really?
I've not really gone on social media for a very, very long time or even watched TV. So what's it called? It's called Watch on Facebook. My watch
Yeah,
list.
Facebook Watch. Facebook
Yeah.
Watch, yes. Uh-huh.
I've learned to waste time nowadays where I just don't think.
Okay,
I
so
my personal time.
okay, so if I find you watching Facebook Watch, then I'm kind of sure you're de-stressing at that point. Somebody must have pissed you off in the office, is it?
Yes, yes. It's quite interesting. I do realize that there's a very big trend now of live bidding, buying fish online.
Ah, I didn't know about that. Okay.
Yes. So I've been like a addicted shopper sometimes when I'm free. So I'll start buying salmon.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, sounds good. Okay, what about you, Anne? One of the most difficult thing is for people to change, right? How did you help your team to move your team towards embracing change?
I think it's almost same like Fiona. Like we
Uh-huh.
tell them, let's say, um, how do we attract people to buy, purchase our things? So we have to change, maybe change our thing to be more challenging, like really intricate or something difficult to do. They will say, this is really hard to do. But then you say, but right now, if we don't do it, we may not catch the chance. People will not buy because what we are doing is all out there now. Everybody doing the same thing. How are you going to change something different? So right now, when we ask them to, it's all up to them. As up to them. Then, like when I design something difficult, I ask them to do. They will say, "Oh, this is too big. This is taking too much time." Then I will just say, this is what we have to change. If you think you cannot do it, then you don't do it. Look for somebody that can do it, who willing to do it, willing to change, willing to take that challenge. It's like I have an example here. Like this is what we did for this early this year, the Chinese New Year. Before that, the Penang they don't really read in. This is Chinese word, right? So this is what they usually read. Is the traditional reading. So when I design this, they say it's too hard. They don't even know how to do it. I said, but if I can draw out using the pattern, it can be done. So only a few take that challenge. And then I give them, I say, if you take that challenge, you have the order. You get to make 300 pieces. And that's your money, right? So this is the things that I encourage them. Sometimes when I come up with something uh, they think they cannot, then I would say, you can. If I can go out using the brick, you can do it. So from there, when they do this, they feel really proud that they've actually done something so different. So yeah, it is always up to them when I tell them you can do this, whether they want to take it or not. The one who take it, they get the return, right? So like what Fiona said, like when they do it, then they get the chance.
Okay. Do you find that when the ones who do it and they're starting to earn money, do the other ones then start going, "Oh my God, I gotta learn"?
Yeah,
right?
so the other one will start making it and try to sell it to me like that. Okay, I also know how to do this already.
I
They will
see.
start it to show you they can do it too. Yeah, then
Okay.
yeah.
I always find it, well, then again, I'm like an overachiever kind of thing. It's nice when when somebody gives you a challenge and you're like, yeah, I can totally do it. And
Yeah,
it's nice when you
yeah.
have somebody and you kind of shit stir, I guess, with each other. You compete. I have a friend of me,
Yeah,
so we always compete. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's
that's a good thing to complete.
right. Yeah. Jackie, what about you? What was the hardest thing you had to deal with during this time? And we already answered that. Sorry. One of the hardest thing is for people to embrace change. So how did you enroll your team into embracing change, or maybe not your team because they all decided to stay in the village, but your new team, the PPE superheroes, I would call them.
I don't think that uh, we have a norm. Actually, our culture is a culture of constant evolution. I don't think embracing change is an issue for our organization. With the people in the villages, um, I try as much as possible to continue business as usual, but expense. So during the MCO, I did hire transporters to go and pick craft out to be sent back to me, so that I have a continuous flow of income. Uh, so in a way, yes. Oh, my internet. Can you hear me? My
Yes,
internet is
we can.
unstable.
We can actually hear
Ah,
you. So no worries.
thanks to Spearheading. Yeah. There's no unify here.
Oh wow. Okay.
So 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 in a way, we want to constantly evolve, but at the same time, as I told you, economic power is always very important to us, and we want to be able to deliver that as much as possible.
Okay, got it. In your opinion, what do you think are the key opinions of an impactful leader, Jackie? What are the requirements or the traits?
Um, Very importantly, you need to have a clear vision, mission, and objective. It sounds very corny, you know, every annual report has it. It's very important to know what your vision, mission, and objectives are, and articulate it as much as possible in your words and also in your actions, um, so that people understand and they appreciate what you're doing, and they like what you're doing, then they follow you. So once you have your vision, mission, and objectives set up, then it's already clear. Secondly, you have to have core values, right? So
Yeah.
it's always um
Is that you, Jackie, with all that sound?
No, my kids are knocking my door.
Because mommy's gone away for some time. I thought it was you, Jackie. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
my
I
That's
just
okay,
text
just
my
wondering.
husband. Get the
my
kids
sound
away.
to my live audience.
Because you do handicraft, ma, so I thought somebody was, like hitting some stuff. Okay.
I turn my computer on.
Okay.
I have other people in the room with me.
Okay.
That's why.
So that means it's basically it's important to have your vision, right?
You want to let them
Sorry.
understand?
No.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's important to have also good core values.
Okay.
People are attracted to your core values. You know, if your
Okay.
values are pure and, you know, amazing, then it supports a good leadership, and people will want to follow a leader like that.
Okay. So it's vision and core values. Anything else?
So basically, our hashtag at Tanoti
Yes.
is ikhlas dan tulin. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah, they have to be sincere and pure. No,
Okay.
ikhlas. Yeah, sincere and pure.
Sincere and pure and real. I would say authentic.
Authentic. Yeah.
Yeah. So ikhlas is sincere and tulin is authentic. Okay. Sounds good. What about you, Anne? What do you think is the most important components of an impactful leader?
Yeah, almost the same. I think to be sincere, and show that you are really there for them, especially with this the Penang reverse. I always tell them, I'm here to help, really sincerely. I'm not trying to mob you or something, because that is what the perception they always have when they will see you as a tauke. It's like maybe that's what they experienced before. You know, people go in and then kind of lowballing them with the price and stuff like that. But when they're with us, we really transparent. We show them all the price and everything. What's going to what is the price that goes, like all the money that we make, the profit that we make, where is it going to? They all understand that we give them the transparency, so they can trust you, because with especially with the tribal people, I think trust is what they want. So to be
Okay.
their leader, you need to give them the trust and show them that you are really sincere.
Okay. So again, it's about being sincere, yeah?
Mm.
Okay, got it. What about you, Fiona? What do you think is the key component of an impactful leader?
For me,
Yeah,
the ability to share.
ability to share. Okay, why is that?
So my late father used to tell me that the more you teach, the more you learn,
Mm-hmm.
then you become better at what you do. So I always encourage, I think it's always building up more leaders. It's very important. Like I always tell my team, I cannot move mountains. I cannot achieve everything in life in my own hands. But the values, like what Jacqueline said, I think it's very important. They have to understand where we come from. Understanding a leader is not easy. I'm a very difficult person to understand because I'm a very result oriented person, not a process oriented person. So I always tell my team that the goal post may change, but the goal doesn't. So they get to propose to me how they would like to do it, but at the end of the day, the goal remains the same. How you do it, you can do it your way. I'm always open to how you propose to do it. I'm always open to debates because I enjoy brain sparring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that to be able to lead, you must be able to listen and understand and also share. Eager to share is very important. So I always use stories of what I have. I have multiple mentors. So I always tell my team that you need a lot of mentors to lead you, to give you guidance. I may not be the perfect person for you alone because I may only be able to teach you from a business perspective, but from a holistic perspective, some people need some more support. Yeah. So
Okay. And do you think it's necessary for leaders to lead with purpose?
yes,
Why do you say that?
it keeps the entire team motivated and assured that they know what they're doing. What's the reason behind doing it, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not money. It cannot be just money driven, right? Everyone has different purpose in life. Like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? If I can get a job anywhere around the world, why would it be here? If I can do anything in the world, why would I do this? So I think at the end of the day, it's really the purpose is very important, but how they see it, like I said, the goal remains the same. The goalpost may change. So it's just how would your team see and want to do things, want to achieve
Okay.
your dream. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And do you think it's necessary for leaders to lead with purpose?
Of course. Or else, what you gonna do if there's no purpose? Why you want to lead?
Right. But some leaders are not clear though when they lead their team, right? So
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's important to kind of communicate that?
Yes, yes, yes. Like, what is the purpose? Of course, it's very important. So you have your direction, or else
Okay.
you don't know where's your direction. When you are a leader, you don't have direction. How are you gonna lead your team member to go to the same direction with you? Yeah. So if you have too many direction, also not good because you'll be like langkah hilangah there. Just
Mm-hmm.
hilangah also not good. So
Just
yeah,
here and there, yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely need a purpose that you guys can
I
do it.
I think with you and Jackie, it's all about leading with purpose, right? Because your whole
Yes.
business is all around that. And with that, I think we can go to our last final question. I'll start with you, Anne. If you had 3 advice to give businesses out there with respect to leadership, what would it be?
3 advice
Yeah.
to be a leader.
Mm. Or in running your business.
In running. Okay. I think honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty is always the policy,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. I think just one will be enough. To be honest, when you have honest, everything come together. I would always think
Okay.
that because that is what like my late father would tell me. You have to be honest. As long as
Okay.
you keep that one thing, everything will be together because that is the core of everything. To be honest.
Okay, got it. Honesty. I think that's fantastic. Jacqueline, what about you? If you had like one or three advice to give businesses out there with respect to leadership or running your business, what would it be?
The reality is always cash flow, actually.
Oh,
So
okay. I
the
like
most
that. Mm-hmm.
important thing is to ensure that you have enough liquidity to carry out your vision and your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
This is the
don't
investment
think,
banker coming in,
yeah,
okay. And anything else?
reality check.
Mm-hmm.
So number one is liquidity. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important to have liquidity, and um, secondly, you need to have your infrastructure, whether your infrastructure be people or be systems. Um, that's very important. If you want to have a sustainable business, you need to have these two, and then the rest would be, the fact that you are articulating your business case, right? Your vision, mission, as I said before. Yeah, but most important, you can't do anything if you don't have liquidity.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it. So definitely liquidity, make sure you survive, right? Kind of thing.
and the
Cash
business is
flow.
able to sustain. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Fiona, what would be your advice to businesses out there? Top three or one even?
Mm, I think we have to be very realistic on our goals.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to empower as well. I always believe in
Okay.
empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
And also do not be afraid to be rejected. Yeah, I think a lot of successful people started from being rejected and the many no's before it became a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think to be able to succeed, you must be able to have the mental strength, but as a team. So it's very important to have a strong team, a solid team behind you.
Mm-hmm.
That encourages you when someone tells you you have a crazy idea or it's a stupid idea, your team remains firm that they are with you, and it allows you to be more confident with your goals, and to assure you that it is the right thing to do, and the goal remains the same. We may change the way we do it, but yeah, stay focused.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Okay, so if I were to summarize this whole session, I would say that the top three things that businesses should be aware of, especially when leading during crisis, is honesty. When leading your team, that you need to be honest, tell them what's going on. Number two is, of course, we're in business because we need to make sure there's enough cash flow. We have to put reality in check. And number three, it's also about it's okay, allowing this culture of making mistakes is okay. You don't reprimand them. But of course, when you make too much mistakes, that's kind of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But you want to make it a safe environment where your team knows that they can experiment, make mistakes, and learn from it. And of course, when leading in a crisis, you nobody has the answer. You could do a lot of research, check in with a lot of mentors, but at the same time, you may just have to kind of just hit it, go with your gut. And if you're looking back and you've got a whole team who's supporting you, you're definitely on the right track. Yeah. Did I get that right? Do you have anything else to add? Yeah.
No, hit everything at the
Yeah, I
spot.
think you did it.
Woohoo! Ah, lucky me. All right. So thank you so much, ladies. You guys have been amazing. The kind of stuff you guys are doing and the impact that you have for your community from Malaysia. I'm like so inspired just talking to you guys and understanding what you guys have to go through during crisis. I'm just like, whoa, and kind of thing to explain. So with that, I'd like to pass it over to Malcolm. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Wow, that was like really solid 45 or 50 minutes of panel discussion. It's really inspiring as well. Never underestimate individual of everyone. I think whether you are women or you are men, I think everyone has that ability to lead. It's just how you want to lead and whether have you discovered it, right? So taking that first step is always important, and failing, it's part of the lesson. That's it, right? So thank you so much, all of you, and thank you for all the audience staying with us, still standing strong with us. All right, so I'm going to have this quick rapid fire session with all of you. So I'm going to throw out random questions, right? And all of you need to respond to it as quickly as possible, not to think too long, okay? So this include Nina, okay? You are part of, yeah, you're going to be part of this rapid fire session, all right? So what is the song that keeps you going every day? Anyone?
I like Manyao, so I don't know whether you guys know it.
I like what?
It's some Chinese alien music that I listen to.
Chinese Italian music. That's so cute. Jackie, what's yours?
Celine Dion Alive.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Queen. I don't know the title of that song, but
How does it go? Can you hum the beat?
You can sing it.
Burning through the sky, 200 degrees. That's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit.
Oh, I don't know the title, but I know that song.
What's the
Yeah.
title?
So Nina.
Mine is usually blank most of the time. But if I had to choose one, if I need some power ups, I call it, I would say, I've got the power. You know that song? Yeah. So if I need to pick me up, it's that one. Yeah.
And
To be honest, I haven't listening to song for a long, long time.
She listens to children music.
Yeah, the noise for the kids.
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
I just want like quiet.
Okay. But if you really have to pick one, what song? And
Yeah, I like I like Queens.
okay. All right. So the next question. Who is your leadership role model? Anyone? Jackie?
I'm quite inspired by myself.
Right. That's awesome.
That's good. That's good. Nina?
Right now it's Jackie for me.
Yeah, me too.
Because Jackie is like my senior in Bristol, so it's like, whoa, Jackie. Yeah, kind of thing.
And?
Yeah, I think Jackie right now. We have a fan club now.
Fiona?
Mentors. I won't say just one, but I have at least 7 mentors.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom inspires me.
Okay. Wow, that's good. That's really good. That's good. Okay, the next one. In one word, what is COVID-19 to you?
Change.
One word.
Okay, Fiona is change. And?
Skip me first.
Nina?
For me, I would say rebirth, because wow, so many things have happened, and I feel that my business has gone better because we've all gone online. So I would say rebirth. We kind of found our way because of the whole pandemic and COVID-19 and MCO. I mean, yeah.
Jackie?
I think it is opportunity in diversity, in adversity. So, yeah, opportunities.
All right. And?
Back to me. I think it's innovative.
Okay.
It's happen, what it can change.
Yeah.
Right, nice. All right, so the other one is what is the greatest change you have experienced so far?
From the pandemic?
Yeah.
I'll go first. Getting online is awesome. It's not as difficult as I thought it'll be. Yeah.
Fiona?
I've never been online so many hours in my life. Like every day, at least. definitely more productive than I was.
Yes.
7 days a week.
Yep. I'm
Jack-
with you. I'm Team Fiona.
Jackie?
Focus. I've never been so focused
Right.
until the pandemic. Because also because we spend so little time traveling, that we spend so much more time on what we do. So my word is focus.
Okay. And back to you.
I think me is a bit different. I get more time off because I can communicate with the viewers through online or whatever we can communicate. So I think I get some free time.
Okay.
Spending my kids. Yeah.
Nice.
Which
nice.
is also beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
very, very
Yes.
quality
I think
quality time as well. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I got last two questions. All right, the
Okay.
last two questions. Right. So, Facebook or Instagram?
I'll go first. LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Sorry, Fiona
Facebook.
and
Facebook.
Nina is LinkedIn.
Yes. Jackie?
Jackie?
I cannot answer this. Instagram.
All right. Last question. Yoga or gym?
Gym.
Gym.
Nina?
Not doing any of them, but if I had to choose it, yoga is good. Yoga. I would like to do yoga. Yes.
Jackie?
Gym.
Gym. All right. Okay, that's all. We have wrapped up the session for today.